Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde of the financial world, compounding. It's this mathematical force that just hums along completely silently in the background of our lives. But here's the thing, it has the power to either build incredible multi-generational wealth or trap us in a totally suffocating avalanche of debt. It is a universal financial law, and today we're going to master exactly how it works. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll cover the phenomenon of compounding, visualizing exponential growth, the true cost of waiting, the credit card trap, and finally, mastering the compound effect. Let's get right into it. Part 1. The phenomenon of compounding. So the Texas State Securities Board actually gives us a really solid working definition here. Compounding happens when investment earnings are added to your principal, forming a larger base on which future earnings accumulate. Basically, think of it as the classic snowball effect, right? At first, you've just got a handful of snow, but as you roll it down a hill, it picks up more snow, gaining size and real momentum with every single rotation. And as that base gets larger, it has the potential to grow faster and faster and faster. Now, the difference between simple and compound interest is honestly pretty striking. Simple interest is, well, it's stubborn. It's solely on the initial amount. 10% on $100 is $10 a year forever, period. But compound interest, that lets your money make its own money. It's figured on the principal and the accumulated interest. So in year 2, that first $10 goes out and starts earning money for you too. It's putting your money to work. Moving right along to part 2, visualizing exponential growth. You know, humans just aren't naturally wired to comprehend exponential growth. We really need mental frameworks to grasp the sheer scale of what compounding can do over time. Fiducient Advisors highlights this fantastic shortcut called the Rule of 72. This lets us forecast exactly how long it takes our money to double, completely skipping all that complex algebra. You just divide the number 72 by your expected annual rate of return. That's it. So if you expect a 10% return, your money doubles in about 7.2 years. Imagine starting with $500,000. In a little over 7 years, you've got $1 million, without adding another dime. Another awesome framework to visualize this is the 8-4-3 rule, which breaks a 15-year investment journey into 3 distinct phases. During those first 8 years, you're just laying the foundation. Progress can feel really slow. You're essentially just packing that initial snowball. But then, the next 4 years, you start picking up pace. The growth actually begins outpacing your early returns. And finally, those last 3 years, rapid expansion. The accumulated returns generate this explosive exponential growth that often rivals literally all the gains of the earlier years combined. The ultimate lesson here? Patience. Patience is absolutely crucial. Which brings us to part 3, the cost of waiting. Listen, time is the single most critical factor in this whole equation. You simply cannot hack the timeline. Let's look at this really eye-opening example from the Texas State Securities Board. Imagine 2 friends. The first one starts investing at age 25, putting away just $200 a month at a 6% return. The second friend waits until age 45, but tries to make up for lost time by contributing twice as much, $400 a month. By age 65, both friends have invested the exact same out-of-pocket amount, $96,000, but the gap in their final balances is just wild. The early starter has over $400,000, while the late starter has just under $186,000. The early starter completely crushes the late starter, purely because they had 20 extra years of time on their side. Now, check out this rather stunning number provided by Thrivent Mutual Funds, $283,973. How on earth do you get there? Well, if you put away just $100 a month for 10 years, starting right now, and then you completely stop, like you never invest a single penny again, you could still hit this massive number after 50 years, assuming a 7% average return. Just a decade of tiny $100 contributions, left alone to marinate in the absolute power of compounding. And when we compare that early investor directly to someone who waits 10 years to start, the math is just brutal. That early investor only put in $12,000 total out of pocket and ended up with about $284,000. But the late investor, they waited 10 years and then diligently invested $100 a month for 40 solid years. That late investor contributed 4 times as much cash, $48,000, but still ended up with almost $20,000 less in their final balance. You literally cannot outsave the power of lost time. It's wild. So, we've seen the light side, right? The wealth-building miracle of compound interest. But now, we really have to flip the script. What exactly happens when this exact same mathematical law is weaponized and applied to your debts?
Part 4. The credit card trap.
Okay, so when you're investing, compounding generally happens monthly or maybe annually. But with credit card debt, as Experian points out, compounding doesn't happen annually. It happens daily. Experian actually breaks down the math into 4 exact steps, showing exactly how your card issuer calculates interest upon interest. First, they find your daily rate by dividing your APR by 365. Next, they calculate your average daily balance. Then they multiply that balance by the daily rate. And finally, they multiply that by the days in your billing cycle. I know, it sounds super technical, but the result is terrifyingly simple. The bank recalculates what you owe every single day, and then just adds an extra charge right on top. That daily compounding means every single day you wait, you are literally paying interest on yesterday's interest. Remember how we just said compound interest makes your money make its own money? Well, with a credit card, your debt is creating its own debt. This is what makes credit card balances spiral incredibly fast. The very same mathematical force that can turn $100 a month into almost $300,000 over a working lifetime, that is the exact same force working in reverse when you carry a credit card balance. So let's look at part 5, mastering the compound effect.
How do we actually tame this double-edged sword? Because obviously we want to harness the light side and completely neutralize the dark side. First up, you absolutely have to minimize your fees. Look at this dramatic drop-off in a scenario from Fiducian Advisors. Let's say you have a $1 million portfolio earning 8% over 30 years. A tiny 0.1% fee versus a 0.5% fee creates an absolute chasm. The portfolio with the 0.1% fee grows to $9.79 million, but the one with the 0.5% fee, it only grows to $8.75 million. That supposedly tiny 0.4% fee increase silently erodes over $1 million of your potential wealth. And why? Because the money you pay in fees is money that is no longer compounding for you.
To master compounding and guarantee you stay on the winning side of the math, you've really got to follow these 4 actionable rules. Rule number 1, start early, because time is absolutely your ultimate weapon here. 2, reinvest your earnings. You can use automated dividend reinvestment plans so your money just keeps making more money in the background. 3, stay consistent through market volatility using dollar-cost averaging so you don't panic and interrupt that compounding process unnecessarily. And 4, maybe the most important, always pay your credit card statement balance in full every single month to completely avoid those daily interest traps.
The cost of waiting is just brutal, guys, whether we're talking about losing years of investment growth or accumulating days of nasty credit card interest. As the classic proverb cited by Thrivent reminds us, procrastination is incredibly costly. The absolute best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago, but the second best time, the next best opportunity to harness time, it is right this second. The math doesn't care about your regrets, it only cares about when you begin.
I want to leave you with a thought to really ponder regarding your own finances as you evaluate the power of compounding in your life. Every financial decision you make feeds into one of these 2 outcomes. Are you patiently packing a snowball that's going to grow into an unstoppable force of wealth for you and your family? Or are you standing at the bottom of a daily compounding credit card avalanche? The math is exactly the same either way. You just get to choose which side of the equation you want to be on.